Another day, another series idea, although I'm certain you can tell from the title that this series is the Why You Should series, whereby I pick up a book series and I state 5 reasons why I think you should absolutely positively pick up that book series. And for the very first edition of this new series, gods, I've said series so many times. For this first edition, I'll be looking at the Nevernight series by J. Christoph.
To be talking to you, Belladonna. Should have taken a break, not an Oxford comma. Take what I want when I wanna. And I want you.
Nora back again. So, like I said in my intro, I'll be talking about the Nevernight series and 5 reasons why I think you absolutely should pick it up if you've not read it yet. And the very first reason I would say are the characters. The characters in the Nevernight series are I would morally grey, very complex, very flawed and human, with motivations that you would understand and be able to resonate with. I think they're one of the best parts of the series, and these are characters you will grow to love. Some of them you will grow to hate. Some of them you would love, then hate, then go back to loving again. And I think that is actually the very strong part about this series. Nobody is a stereotype. None of these characters fit into a mold in which you can easily cast them. None of them necessarily are your traditional stereotypical characters that you find in books, in the sense that the stereotypes are turned upside down their head. So whether you are rooting for Mia or you're supporting Trick, or you've learned to understand exactly where Ashlyn is coming from, they are characters that you would otherwise have thought the world of and expected only the best. You expect them to be morally upright, and even with those characters you learn that emotions are never easily calculated, and the heroes we've always thought that we knew and the heroes we've always looked up to are in themselves flawed, but that does not make us love them any less. And I would still say over and over again, the characters in this series, their lives, their hopes, their dreams, their flaws, their weaknesses, and even how it is that, and even their strengths, they are what make them them. Whether they are a young 8-year-old child who finds his world totally and completely rocked, and everything he thought he knew turned out not to be that way, or an older man who always thought that he knew exactly what he wanted out of life until a young girl stumbles into his shop and becomes the daughter he never knew he wanted, or a young girl who wanted revenge for her family only to find out that her family are not as pure as she thought that they were, but even with that, they are still a family and they do still deserve to get the revenge that they have earned. Or the young girl who was raised by a bitter father to gain vengeance that he felt has been due him, and to clean a house that our father had always believed was wrong in itself. The next reason why I think that you should pick up the Nevernight series if you've not read it is the fact that yes, this story is grimdark fantasy, but unlike most grimdark fantasies, I do believe that this is one of the grimdark fantasies that ends on a more happier, hopeful note. So if it is that you like your grimdark fantasy, you like a world where everything is hopeless, where it is that might makes right, where most of your characters, if not all your characters, are morally grey, and you can never tell that someone is all good or all bad, because that is exactly the reflection of the world around us. But if it is that you love those type of stories with a lot of blood, a lot of gore, a lot of machinations, and where hopelessness seems like it's a common feeling slash emotion that is a day-to-day thing that every character in this book has to deal with, if you like grimdark fantasies like that, but you also want something a bit lighter, that has a bit of a happier ending, then I would totally and completely recommend this series, because most grimdark fantasies do not have a happy ending. They are not meant to have a happy ending. The whole feeling of hopelessness and despair is meant to be consistent throughout the entire book, and this understanding that human beings are very, very flawed and very, very vicious, and thinking otherwise is living in a fairy tale. And grimdark fantasy is definitely does not make any room for fairy tales. But if it is that you do want to have all the themes and behavioral patterns and setting and mood that is readily found in grimdark fantasy, if you want all of that but also want something that ends on a stronger, happier, might I even say slightly hopeful note, then I would recommend the Nevernight series, because it does do that very well. And a third reason why you should absolutely pick up the series is if it is that you love a world building that is built off of mythology and that is inspired by Venetian architecture and culture and government. And by Venetian, I do mean the Republic of Venice that existed between the 7th and the 18th century, and everything that comes with that. So you are looking at a waterfront republic that is run by an oligarchy that is made up of merchants and aristocrats, and that does have a doge/duke that is the appointed head by the council that is, of course, like I said, the oligarchs. Then if you're the kind of person that loves mythology, that loves how mythology can be incorporated into a story, and that is fascinated by empires past and the way in which they lived and the way in which their government existed, then I totally recommend picking up the Nevernight series, because you do get both of that in a beautiful package that is world building that you would really enjoy. If it is that, like I said, you love mythology and you love reading books that are based off of past empires that have fallen and have changed over the years. If that is your jam, then please pick up Nevernight series. If it is that you do love everything about Venetian history before they were fully incorporated into the Roman Empire, then you should totally pick up Nevernight series. Another reason why you should pick up the series is the earned competence on the part of the protagonist, that is Mia Cover. Now, if it is that you love training montages in shows or movies, you love to see the protagonist actually put in the work to get to that point of being the best or the feared one in their society or in their world, then you will totally enjoy this book. Unlike a lot of series whereby you have the protagonist who just becomes automatically the best, you don't actually see the setup to how they got to that point, or sometimes the story starts after they become the best. In this particular instance with Nevernight, J. Christoph actually does show us Mia working her butt off to actually become the best, whether it's for her to become the Blade or whether it was for her to become a gladiator. In every situation/circumstance, she pays her tithe in blood and sweat and gore and a lot of pain, and it feels so earned. It feels earned to see her go from one level to the other and become better and better. I think nothing best captures this that is scene where you meet her and she's basically attacked. Now, you would expect in a stereotypical story for her to immediately whip out her moves and show this person hell, but at that point in time she had no training. She was already starving, she was very young, she was very weak, and she got her ass trounced. Like, she got her ass handed out to her, and the only thing that saved her was someone walking in to help her. And that already gives us an idea of the type of person that Mia Cover is. She starts from a point of weakness, of having no training, of knowing nothing, to the fearsome person we meet at the end of the series in Dark Dawn. By the time you look at her journey, you look at where she's coming from and where she ended, you understand just how well earned it is, and it makes her even more of a badass. And finally, the fifth reason why you should pick up the series if you have not yet read it is because this is revenge fantasy done right. Now, if it is that you take a specific joy in reading revenge fantasy stories, then I totally and completely recommend this for you. This entire story is about Mia Cover taking revenge or taking vengeance on the people that brought about the ruin and destruction/downfall of our family, and watching her take that vengeance one pound of flesh at a time, one bloody end at a time, is very, very satisfying. There's nothing about this story about a girl who maybe feels bad about the fact that she's taking vengeance. There's nothing in this story about a moral of it's best not to take revenge sets you on the path to destruction. No, in this story, revenge is good, revenge is great, revenge is needed, revenge has been earned, and she will dole out that revenge all throughout this series. And the funniest about it is that it's not just Mia that is out for revenge. There are also other characters in this book that do get their vengeance, and it is satisfying. Although, yes, in some instances it is heartbreaking, but the overall quest for vengeance that they undertake is very, very satisfying. So if it is that you love revenge fantasy, then I absolutely and completely, totally, 100% do recommend this series. And if it is that all these 5 reasons that I've stated have not still convinced you to pick up Nevernight, then you might just consider picking it up because of the fact that there's a talking snacking cat in the series. And the minute I found out that existed, I absolutely had to read it, because the last time I saw a talking snacky cat that I really, really enjoyed was Salem Saberhagen in Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I mean the book and the OG series. That's the one with Melissa Joan Hart, of course. So seeing a talking snacky, very wise cat who has opinions and is not afraid to share them, being present in the book, like it kind of further sealed the series for me. So those are 5 reasons why I think you should absolutely read the Nevernight series, and that would be the end of the very first edition of the Why You Should Read series. Let me know if you enjoyed it. Let me know if there are any series you think that I should do this video of. It doesn't matter the genre, just let me know. Drop them down in the comments down below. If I've not read them, I will read them, and if I do like them and enjoy them and love them and recommend them well enough, then yes, I would do this series. But I have different series already planned out, so who knows, I might probably be bringing you the next edition of this sometime soon. If you like this video, please do not forget to give it a big thumbs up and share it as well. Check out my other videos, subscribe if you want to. I make new videos every Sundays, Wednesdays and Fridays, and I'll see you soon. Until then, stay passionate, love books, love yourself. Bye.
My strange addiction, my doctors can't explain my symptoms.